Hello everyone and excuse me. Hello everyone and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast as part of a ZtormLabostix article. This audio podcast as part of a Siege Solar Storm. This audio podcast as part of a Stax'n'um edition, and this audio podcast as part of a ZtormLabostix production. Today's audio podcast will look at sort of the symptomology, specific symptomologies around Haemolytic Uraemic Syndrome. One of the common causes of acute intrinsic renal failure in pediatrics is one of the most commonest causes of acute intrinsic renal failure in pediatrics and young people in the United Kingdom and in the United States and in other parts of the world, irrespective of the developed world or irrespective of the underdeveloped world and populations. No specific therapies exist. However, there have been in more recent literature, there have been advances in around specific and particular monoclonal antibodies. In particular, monoclonal antibodies. However, the monoclonal antibodies that do exist, or that form pharmacotherapy in pediatrics and young people with HUS are used for generally for sort of short durations short durations owing to the some of the challenges in around some of the other pharmacotherapy that some children pediatrics or young people tend to have with when and if diagnosed with HUS. At the same time, there can be major neurological dysfunction or challenges which occur in a third of patients, or has been evidence saying that occurs in a third of patients and is associated with associated with a poor prognosis. Less than 10% may develop pancreatic involvement, where there's pancreatic involvement manifested by hyperglycemia with a requirement of insulin treatment or therapies. Mortality is as high as has been documented in evidence as being as high as 8.5% and up to 30% of survivors may develop a mild impairment of GFR, glomerular filtration rate, and or albuminuria. That draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast as part of a ZtormLabostix article. This audio podcast is part of a Siege Solar Storm. This audio podcast is part of a Stax'n'um edition. This audio podcast as part of a ZtormLabostix production.